Hi guys, it's Emily from Australian Frugal here with a back to school cooking prep video thing. So I am about to smash out pikelets, jelly and fruit cups and a bunch of other things that I'm going to show you now. Don't forget, if you like this kind of content, to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Alright, so these are all clean. These are my little cups. They're jelly molds, but I use them for all sorts of things to send with the kids for school lunches. They have a little top and a bottom. They seal really well, and I use these for yogurts and custard and rice pudding and jelly and fruit cups, which is what I'm going to make. So I should have 4 packets, which is 24, but I can only find 21, so I'm going to see how many I make. But I've given them another wash because they've been in the cupboard for quite a few months and they were a bit dusty. So I'm going to make that. Over here I've got milk defrosting in the sink. In the Thermomix, I'm going to start the yogurt, move it over to the thermo server, wrap it up in a towel, stick it somewhere warm, which isn't hard because this house is so hot today. It's 40 degrees outside. So I'll go pop that in the office where the aircon doesn't reach, and I'll leave that for maybe 8 to 12 hours roughly, and then I'll have yogurt. I've also got these bread rolls that are left over from New Year's Eve, and another packet that I bought and then we didn't end up using, so I threw in the freezer. I'm going to make cheese and bacon rolls. I'm probably not going to defrost these all the way. They've been sitting out on the counter for probably 20 minutes now. This one's got a teeny little bit of freezer burn, but the rest look fine. So I'm gonna maybe partially defrost those, dice up some bacon, and top it with some cheese that I've already pre-grated over there. And I've also got some garlic butter that I've made here that I'm gonna cover them with as well to make them a bit softer. My yogurt making stuff is here. I got my jelly, and I don't have any mixed fruit at the moment, but I have some peach slices that I'm going to make those. I've got my cooling racks out. I'm going to make gluten-free pikelets. Then I'm going to make non-gluten-free pikelets. I'll do the gluten-free first so that there's no cross-contamination. Let's just check my list. Jelly and fruit cups, strawberry yogurt. I have frozen strawberries. Bacon and cheese rolls. Rice pudding, if I can be bothered and I get around to it, I have to get the rice cooker out and make the rice. Lemon cake loaves. I have this little loaf pan here I got from Daisy-O for, I think it was $3.80. And super cute. I thought these would be perfect for school lunches, so I have tons of lemons, so I was going to make a couple of little lemon cakes. Then I can send slices to school for the kids. So there's that. I'm also going to make other things than that, but I'm going to start with lemon cake because I have lots of it. Gluten-free cookies, jam drops, and pikelets. The gluten-free cookies, jam drops, and the rice pudding are, if I can be bothered, if I have time or another day. The jelly and fruit cups, the strawberry yogurt, the bacon and cheese rolls and the pikelets are what I want to get done today before the baby gets too grumpy. And anything else is a bonus. So if you're keen to see that, stay tuned. All right, so I've put a liter of my milk in, and I've added 40 grams of my organic honey because I prefer to use that over raw sugar, and 2 capfuls of vanilla essence. You could use vanilla paste. Now I'm going to cook it at 90 degrees for 25 minutes on speed 3 to get that milk blanched and cooked. Then I'm going to add my starter yogurt. I think I have to double check my recipe, but I'm pretty sure that I just mix it through, and then I'm going to move it to the thermo server, wrap it in a towel, keep it nice and warm, and move it to the office. Alright, so I got out a big oven tray, put some baking paper down, and then fit as many of the buns as I could on the tray. I managed to just squeeze them all in, ending up with 13, 3 big ones, and 11 small ones. That's 14. And then I melted some butter and some garlic and brushed it over the top to help soften it and give it a garlic flavor.
3 rashers of bacon, about 100 grams of cheese sprinkled over the top, and I just baked it on about 180 until it smelled really good and looked like this. Alright, so after the Thermomix was done, I just let it sit there and watched the temperature go down until it hit 37 degrees, which is the temperature you need.
Alright, so I thought I'd just pop on here and say you do not need a Thermomix to make yogurt at home. You can do it on the stove top. The first thing I was doing was blanching the milk, so cooking it until it was just under boiling and killing off any sort of bacteria and stuff in the milk and prepping it to make the yogurt. Then you'd need a thermometer to get it down to 37 degrees, and that's when you add your yogurt starter. You need yogurt to make yogurt, so pro tip, when you're making yogurt, always put aside at least 100 grams in a separate container for next time so you can make yogurt. Also, whatever yogurt you start with, you can use whatever. You can see I used a cheap vanilla yogurt here, but the thicker the yogurt you start with, the thicker the yogurt you'll get, although setting it out, for letting it sit for longer, if you can keep it hotter, the thicker it'll get as well. And this got quite thick after it's set in the fridge, so depending on what kind of yogurt you like, you can definitely use natural or Greek or something else. But yes, you can do anything I do in the Thermomix on the stove. I'm just using the Thermomix because it'll keep an eye on it while I'm doing 500 other things and taking care of a baby.
Baby woke up and I didn't have time to make all my pikelets, so I threw them on a tray to make some sheet pancakes. Threw a handful of chocolate chips on top, threw it in on 180 until it was golden brown. This one was a little dense. I put the peaches in my cups. I ended up with 10 cups because I only had 21 cups in total, and I needed 1 for the yogurt starter and 10 jelly and 10 yogurt. Then I got the baby down and managed to mix up 3 more batches of pikelet mix, started those. Then once the Thermomix reached 37 degrees, I added my yogurt starter. Then I put some hot water in the thermoserver. I couldn't find the lid to heat it up, and cooked the yogurt starter on 37 degrees for 25 minutes on speed 3. Then once that was done, I emptied out the hot water, dried it out, added the yogurt mix, covered it up, wrapped it in a towel, and took it to the garage, which was the hottest part of my house that would probably stay the hottest for as long as possible. And this is it on the shelf in my stockpile where it could sit and where the kids couldn't touch it. So this is the fruit of my labors so far here. Also have the jellies in the fridge, and the yogurt is developing. And here it is all bagged up. I ended up with 14 packets of pikelets. I made them into little sandwiches with Nutella or raspberry jam in between them and put 1 of each in each bag. I bagged up all of the buns. Now I know this is a lot of plastic, but I do rinse these out and reuse them until they start to wear out, and then I replace them. And then all of these ended up in the freezer for back to school next week, although I did offer up 1 bun to the kids to try, and some pie. They ate about 100 something packets while I was cooking them, and half the sheet pancake. Then I checked on my yogurt about 10 p.m. So it had been sitting for about 6 hours, but it was no longer warm because it didn't have the lid. But it had half set. See how it's still quite runny? The rest of the setting happens in the fridge. So instead of sticking it in the fridge and then working it again, I poured it all into the yogurt cups with the frozen strawberries on the bottom. I only ended up having about 100 grams of strawberries left as the kids and hubby had gotten into it. Put that in, set it in overnight, and then came back and put the lids on. This is the set yogurts. The kids have already nicked 2, and they've all gone into the freezer, and they'll keep beautifully in the freezer until next week.
Alright, so it's the next day. It got very late, and between the baby and the kids and making dinner and everything else I did yesterday, I did not have time to record the outro to this video. So I ended up with about 2.5 weeks of school lunch stuff for the kids. I have 2 going to school this year, so I should have made double, but I didn't. And then I going to the shops today to buy muesli bars and cheap things. I try and keep my lunchbox totals under $2 a day, including lots of fruit, veggies, something quick and easy like a muesli bar, and then the baked goods that I make to help with the costs. Don't forget, if you like this kind of video, to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Let me know what you're making for back to school.